We will now return to the Bible. Genesis chapter 6. Sons of God marry daughters of men. Men turn to wickedness. Earth is filled with violence. All flesh is corrupted. The flood is promised. God establishes his covenant with Noah, who builds an ark to save his family and diverse living things. Let's see how long this one takes. Excuse me. Let's see how long this one takes. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. And there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Now I want to say there's a lot of people, not necessarily in the church, but a lot of Christians have this idea. They read, the sons of God married the daughters of men. And this is an idea that angels came down and had children with women, with mortal women, that the angels came down and married mortal women. But that's not what it really is talking about. The sons of God is talking about the faithful, the righteous who follow God. They are the sons of God through baptism. They are adopted by Christ through baptism. And when they marry the daughters of men, that means that they are marrying outside the covenant. They are marrying among the wicked. And it causes a drop in righteousness, because when a righteous person marries a wicked person, the children generally take more of the wickedness than the righteousness. That's generally how it works, which is why God has always commanded us to marry within the covenant, to marry other faithful people. Anyways, I also noticed the mention of giants here. Giants did exist. So, now, continuing, verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every... sorry. One last note before I continue. When it says, yet his days shall be 120 years, some people have interpreted this to mean that the lifespan of men was reduced to 120 years. And while that does happen, that doesn't happen for like another 1,200 years. Because after the flood, Shem still lives like 600 years. His son, Arphaxad lives like 500 years. So people were still living a long time after this. What this 120 years is, this is a prophecy that the people are given 120 years to repent before the flood. That's what that's talking about. So, moving on to verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Now, we shouldn't understand this to be just God's mad at people, so he's going to wipe everything out. This is the thoughts of their heart were only evil continually. That every imagination of the thoughts of their hearts was evil. God could no longer justify sending children, sending spirits to be born into such a world. He had to cleanse the world, wipe it clean, wash it clean of all this wickedness, because he could not justify sending more spirits into such wickedness. Okay, moving on, verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man, and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before the Lord, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the flood, with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou fashion it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy all flesh wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and every living and everything that is in the earth shall die. Okay, a couple of things there, of course. A cubit technically is a measurement from elbow to the tip of the hand of an adult man. Not a very precise measurement because different men have different lengths of arms, but it later became standardized at either 18 or 20 inches. Now, we don't know what the cubit was before the flood because we don't know how big men were back then. There's a good chance that they were actually growing a bit tall. I'm not talking about, 10 feet, but a bit taller on average with longer arms. So a cubit could have been a bit longer than what the later cubit was. But it says here, just a little measurement here, 300 cubits. That's at least 450 feet long. 50 cubits is the breadth of it. That is 75 feet wide. And 30 cubits is the height of it. That is 45 feet tall. It has 3 stories, so each story is approximately 15 feet in height. That's just an estimate, again. Anyways. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. 2 of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. Thus did Noah, according to all that God commanded him, so did he. So, a couple of quick notes, of course. It does say 2 of every animal, a male and a female. That way they can repopulate the earth. I like the theory that he wasn't bringing adults, but bringing the young, the babies, because it would leave more room on the ark if he was bringing babies rather than bringing the adults. It also says that he only brought the plants that were for food. Take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten. He didn't preserve the seeds of every plant because most plants are very resilient. You could flood them, and then, shortly after once the floods ended, they would start growing again eventually. So he didn't need to bring all the plants. He just brought the animals and enough food for him and the animals. And last, I want to go back here. There is a Joseph Smith translation in verse 18. So let me reread verse 18 here. It says, But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons and thy wives, and thy sons' wives with thee. Now, Joseph Smith adds this. So it says, But with thee will I establish my covenant. And then Joseph Smith adds, Even as I have sworn unto thy father Enoch, that of thy posterity shall come all nations. So we are referring back to what we read in Moses with the covenant that God made with Enoch about his seed never dying from off the earth. And I'm going to leave it here.